Have you ever wondered what North Calgary, the quadrant, has to offer? This video is a part of my 8-video series where I go over every single quadrant of Calgary in detail. This video is jam-packed with information, so what I've done is I've actually linked a bunch of different websites and a lot of useful resources in the description below. So if you're looking for that additional information, make sure to look at those links. Hi, my name's Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking to make it a move or you're just curious about what's going on in the market and you want more information, go ahead and book a call. It's the very first link in my description. For more valuable information, make sure to browse my channel and check out the playlist where I talk about every single quadrant. So let's get into it. Now, how this is going to work is I actually have 2 screen recordings going right now. I have this screen right here and this camera right here. And what's going to happen is I'm actually going to jump back and forth for a better viewer experience, because at the end of the day, I want to make this as valuable as possible for you. So how this is going to start is I'm going to talk about different nuances of Calgary North. And Calgary North is quite interesting because it has 2 street abbreviations. It has Northeast and Northwest. So sometimes people get confused about the Calgary North quadrant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlay a map right now, and this is going to show you all of the quadrants in its entirety. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlay it on the actual map itself. So how this is going to work is I'm going to start right here at 14th and John Lowry. Now you go up John Lowry, you go over McKnight Boulevard, you actually hit Deerfoot Trail. Now Deerfoot Trail goes all the way up here, all the way up, and you can basically go to 566. Realistically, it's ending about here, but you can say it goes all the way up here. So you go all the way over to Shaganappy Trail. You go right down Shaganappy Trail here, so it actually drops down through here. It goes all the way down Shaganappy Trail right to Nose Hill Park. Now, Nose Hill Park is massive. On this map, I really hope to showcase just how large this park is. Now, from here, you'll actually go the edge of the park to 14th Street, then all the way down 14th Street, all the way to John Lowry. So that right there is Calgary North, the quadrant. Now, how this is going to work is I'm actually going to talk about different nuances of the actual quadrant itself. So first, I'm going to touch on the kind of the overview and the layout. Now, Calgary North, the traffic really isn't that bad for this quadrant because it does have a lot of great arteries that are running right through it. Now, there's quite a bit of green space. It's got really cool like hills and valleys, which I really like. You got Country Hills, Panorama, and then you have Hidden Valley. So it actually dips down here and then it goes up. And then over here, you kind of get into a little bit more of like that flat land where you get a really good view of the mountains and really good view of downtown. So overall, the layout of Calgary North is quite nice. You have a lot of different geographical layouts, and it's a cool quadrant to be a part of. One of the biggest benefits about Calgary North is just how close it is to the airport. So clearly you can see the airport right here. If we zoom in, you can see just the way that the runways are overlaid. So sometimes you'll actually get planes coming overhead, but most of the time you'll get them north-south. So if you are looking to fly in and out of Calgary very quickly, something like Harvest Hills, which is really close to Airport Trail, it is very nice and convenient for you. Now, another thing about North Calgary is it's a middle and upper middle class area. You get some older product in the Huntington Hills, Thorncliffe, Bennington Heights area here, but then you start to inch up into that upper class as more north you go. So we will talk about the price points here in this video, but for the overview, there is a middle class down here and then that upper middle class up here, inching into some luxury product north in these newer communities. So next, what I'm going to touch on is the traffic. Now, the traffic of North Calgary isn't too bad, but there are a couple places of congestion. So one of the biggest places of congestion, in my opinion, is Bennington Trail right here going onto Deerfoot. Now, being 1 o'clock on a Thursday, is not going to be a whole lot of traffic going on right now. Even if I went over to this, you can see it's all green. But for the most part, if we were to go back and actually look at this from like 7 to 9 and then 3 to 6, you will notice that there is a little bit of congestion in this area. So there is a lot of people coming from the northern portion here driving down Bennington Trail, and then you have a lot of people coming from Airdrie coming down to downtown Calgary. So this area right here is probably the worst, I would have to say, in Calgary North. Now, if you live here and you notice that maybe traffic along 14th is worse, or maybe you have a really bad intersection up here, let me know, because at the end of the day, I don't live in Calgary North. I have a lot of clients in Calgary North, but I don't drive the actual streets every single day. Now, let's talk about some of the main roadways. So the main roadways in Calgary North, you would be looking at Deerfoot Trail here, which is actually the highway that connects basically Edmonton all the way to the United States. And then you can zoom in here, you've got Stony Trail. So Stony Trail is a part of the Ring Road. Now, when you start to dive into the community itself, you have Beddington Trail, which is probably the third most important street. And then you've also got Country Hills Boulevard, which goes right lateral this way. So there is a lot of great main arteries in North Calgary, which help go to different areas of Calgary a lot easier. I guess another one that's important is 14th Street. There's a lot of people that use 14th Street. Some really nice views actually from 14th here. If we go to the satellite image here and we can go to this little lookout right here, viewpoint, you've got some really slick views of downtown Calgary, which is right here. Obviously it's a very pretty area. So if you're looking for a cool little view of downtown, Nose Hill Point or Park Viewpoint is pretty interesting. So that's it for traffic. Now I am going to look at my notes because at the end of the day I can't memorize all of this, and I do want to take it this in strides, and I want to try and do a one take with you guys. I don't want to be able to kind of stitch all these things together. I want to be able to show you my real authentic editing style, I guess you could say, and showcase to you what Calgary North is all about. So next thing we're going to touch on is amenities and shopping centers. So there are quite a few amenities in Calgary North. Now, one of the ones I'm going to touch on, or some of the ones I'm going to touch on, is Simon Valley right here. So you've got a nice little amenities, which is basically right in between north and northwest here. You've got a little bit of stuff going here. Now the Costco and Home Depot is technically in the northwest quadrant, but it is very close to north. Another big one here is Country Hills Village. Now there is a lot of different stuff going on here. You've got the Real Canadian Superstore, Home Depot, you've got Landmark Cinemas, all of this different stuff here. And then a final one here is just the Beddington Town Center. So a little bit small, but still a lot of different things in this little amenity section. Now, one of the last ones I'm going to touch on is Deerfoot City. So if I actually scroll out here, let's see, it's not going to kick in, but Deerfoot City is in this general area. Now, again, a lot of amenities in this area. Technically, it's in the northeast, but come on, it's like right here. So there is a lot of different activities going on in Deerfoot City. You've got the rec room, you've got like indoor skydiving, Cabela's, all of this stuff. So pretty close to north, technically in the northeast, but it is what it is. Then Deerfoot City is cool to check out. Now, next I'm going to touch on schools. Now, schools is interesting because there is so many different options in Calgary that I'm not going to touch on the specifics. So what I've done is I've actually shared a link in the description. So I've done public schools, which is this map here. So if we zoom out, we can see some different public schools in this area here. I've also done private or Catholic schools, sorry. So this is a quick view of different Catholic schools. So again, this link is in the description. Go ahead and click it. It's very interactive. And then we also have private schools. Now, there are no private schools in Calgary North. If you look from this website here, they're all in Northwest, West, and South. So in terms of schools, there is quite a bit of options for public and Catholic schools, but there's really no private schools. So if you want that, you might need to be searching in a different quadrant. Now, let's keep going. Now, there are lots of transit options in Calgary. There's actually 896 route options in the entire city. So I'm not going to touch on all of the bus routes in Calgary, but again, what I've done is I've actually connected the Calgary Transit website here, which you can go and specifically look at different routes. But at the same time, I've actually I linked the live map. Now the live map's quite interesting because if you want to know what a specific bus route is doing, you can see that this one goes all the way down to Haysboro basically and all the way up to Beddington. But then again, you can click on this bus route here, see where it's going, Nolan Hill, Coventry Hills. You can see this one's going down to the northeast Saddle town area and all of this stuff. So if you're looking for specific bus routes, come to this website here, click the links, see what's going on with different routes and ask questions, right? I'm not going to dive into the specific bus routes, but you can clearly see that this map that I've linked in the description below has a lot of information about the bus routes. Now, Calgary North does have some more transit coming in the future, but I'll touch on that in a moment. Now, this next one is quite interesting, and I'm going to talk about the average housing cost. I'm not going to dive into it in its entirety, but what I am going to do is I'm going to showcase to you a real estate map. Now, this real estate map, let's see if I can load this without actually losing all of the data, and I did. So as you can tell, this is live time right now, and I'm going to showcase to you everything that I can that I feel is valuable. So I'm not going to touch on this specifically, but what I am going to do is just showcase to you some averages. So if I just move this down here, you can see the heat map on the bottom. Yellow is cheap and red is very expensive. So if we go to the benchmark price here and we start to zoom in, you can start to see a general idea of what things are valued at, right? So you can see that Sage Hill is a little bit less expensive compared to Evanston, where you're looking at Livingston is more expensive than Country Hills Village. So you can start to see some averages in this area. If you're specifically looking for data that is, that's too high. If you're specifically looking for price points, then I would recommend you set up a call. Ask me what communities you're in. Then we can start to look at the median price, the average sold price, sold listings, new listings, average days on market, and really dive into a lot of the data that I'm not going to touch on in this video, but I'm going to showcase to you that I have the power to tell the story. Now, let's move on here. Now, one of the things I really like about Calgary North, and Calgary in general, to be honest with you, is the parks and the green space. So Nose Hill Park is definitely one of the biggest parks in one of the like metropolitan cities in Canada. I mean, you've got Stanley Park in Victoria, which is a very nice large park with lots of great water around it. But Nose Hill Park, you get these panoramic views of Calgary, and it's a really, really nice area to go skiing, hiking, biking, cross-country skiing, and yeah, just really enjoy a lot of space there. So a lot of these houses in this area really do enjoy that aspect of it. Now, Nose Creek Park is also a very nice green space with a lot of paths going up and down the middle of Calgary North. There's a lot of places for golf. There's a lot of places to walk your dog, rollerblade, skateboard, longboard, whatever you're doing in the summer, and a little bit of cross-country skiing. So I'm not going to dive into a lot of the specific parks, but some of the nicer areas that I would recommend checking out. Harvest Hills Parks right here with a little bit of a pond. You've got Country Hills Village with the, I can't remember the name of this pond, Country Hills Village Pond. It's Country Hills Village Pond. That's amazing. We've got a couple of nice places actually up here. Panatella Park, which is really nice. They've got, again, just a little bit of a water feature here, and then some green space up in the north. But again, we're not going to touch on that, but there is a lot of green spaces in North Calgary. Now, last but not least, I'm going to touch on future developments. Now, future developments in Calgary North are very exciting. One of the first things I'm going to touch on is the Green Line. Now, the Green Line in Calgary is a LRT transit system that is a train on a track that's going to be going all the way up North Calgary and then all the way down to Southeast Calgary. So what I have here is the Green Line map. Now again, I will link this in the description. So right now we're on stage 1 construction. So stage 1 construction, if I zoom in here, you can see that it's going from downtown all the way to southeast here, basically to the industrial area. Stage 2 construction is going to be across the river and then starting to go upwards of Highway 1 or 16th Avenue. Now, the final stages, how do I find this one again? The final stages are going to be stages 3 and 4, and it's going to go all the way up to Livingston. That's very exciting. I would argue that it's probably a 10-year plan, not going to be something that happens right away. But when you actually look at the map here, and we reference this map, you can see that it's going to basically go right across Princess Park and then shoot straight up Center Street into Livingston. Now, Livingston is also a very exciting new development area. It's a brand new community. It's only about 5 years old. There is quite a bit of houses right there. I actually facilitated a transaction in this area not too long ago, and it is very, very exciting. I have linked, did I talk about this? Yes, Livingston dubbed future downtown of Calgary. Now, this is a 2016 article, so it's a little bit old, but you can see that there's some excitement going on in this area. What they're going to do is they're basically going to split this road, have a lot of parks and amenities in the middle, and then the C train is going to come up here as well, which is going to directly connect you to downtown. Now, on that topic, you can see that there is some very exciting news for a future hospital. Now, this is sorry, this is an older article, 2014, but this has been the talk of the town for quite some time. I do not know exactly where the hospital is being built, but there is talks for a hospital in North Calgary. If we're talking about hospitals, which There's unfortunately nothing in Calgary North right now. You can see that there is a hospital right here near the university. There's a hospital down here in central Calgary, one in northeast Calgary, and then all the way down here, South Health Campus, which was not brought up on the original search. So it will be nice when there's a major hospital coming up here, especially for people in Airdrie. They don't have to drive all the way down to northeast Calgary. They can come right here. So future developments for Calgary are very, very exciting. Now, with that being said, that is all I've got for you. This was a quick highlight of North Calgary. I hope you got some value. Please click the links that I have talked about here and ask me questions. If you're looking for any specific information, or if you want to dive into the data and the numbers and the analysis of North Calgary in a lot more detail, I am all ears, and I'm very excited to share with you some information about the quadrant. So make sure to subscribe, comment below, let me know your thoughts. If I've missed anything, let me know, call me out, let me know what I've missed in North Calgary, and I will try to do better on all of the other quadrants. So thank you very much. Please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.